My name is Mary O'Brien. I live here in Sligo. Kevin was my husband's name, and Kevin worked with Sligo VEC as it was known then. Nowadays it's the ETB. He had worked there all his life and had retired 2 years before he passed away. When I retired, we planned we'd have an exotic trip. I wanted to have one, and it was going to be to the east, the Orient and the Great Wall of China. Kevin never really was pushed about that, but he said you come with me, and he said, I'll bring my Sudoku book and I'll sit on the wall and you can walk it. And we were both around the 60 mark, and we thought, well, you know, on the law of averages, we'll be granted at least another 10 years where we'll be pretty mobile and we'll be able to go off on little trips here and there. But unfortunately that never happened, you know. Kevin always looked after himself. He was great. I mean, contrary to what a lot of men will do, and he was a lot better than I was. At one stage when his stomach, which was just before he died, the December before he died, his tummy was bothering him quite a bit, and he got a hernia diagnosis. And then another consultant suggested that another guy was very good on hernias, so he went that day in hospital and booked himself an appointment with that particular consultant, and he was back in hospital again after Christmas to see him. But that was Mr. Collins, and he diagnosed that he had 2 cysts, one on the pancreas and one on the liver, and that was the cause of his problem. It wasn't the hernia. It was a just downward spiral. That's the only way I can describe it. And it was fast and furious. And you were delivered information and diagnosis and the ups and downs of that. You know, when we got the diagnosis of the 2 cysts, well, what's a cyst? What's a tumour? I never knew really, had never thought about it until then. And then, well, cysts, you know, they could be benign, and there was positivity there. And, you know, we were kind of going on the positive side. But the day he was given that diagnosis in Galway, the way the staff treated us, we were brought into a private room. He was being kept overnight for another MRI the following day. We just knew, and the two of us just spent the evening crying. And I was staying across the road in Flannery's Hotel, and I couldn't sleep. I cried until 4 o'clock in the morning. My head, I never will forget, that was my worst day. The pain in my head was something horrific, you know. But anyhow, we got the diagnosis the next day that we were going to Dublin, to St. Vincent's, to meet the pancreatic team up there. And we went there the following week, and it took a week there before we got the definitive diagnosis that these were tumours, and there was no treatment. It was just palliative care, and that he had a few months. That was it. And after the first week home, he realised that they just couldn't get on top of his pain, and he suggested to me that I would ring Northwest Hospice and see would they take him in as an inpatient, and that it might aid them better to get on top of his pain. He had suffered so much. I mean, he couldn't sleep in bed. All he could do was sleep on a chair for a couple of months previous, and that couldn't go on. I could see he was wasting away, and I thought, well, if he gets into hospice, okay, you know, there is no cure for this, but with pain relief, that perhaps we'll get a number of months out of this, you know. His decision to go to Northwest Hospice, I was happy about it really, because I knew nothing was working at home, you know, so you clutch any straw of hope. And so, yeah, I rang Northwest Hospice and they said to take him in on Monday, you know. And I suppose there was a certain fear and trepidation and all that, but he was in such a state, you know, if this was, he felt himself, this is the only answer for me now. You know, I've been to Galway, I've been to Dublin, he had gone to the oncology in Sligo, but nothing could be done. So he felt, this is my only choice at this stage. And so he made his decision. He was admitted on February the 23rd, and he passed away peacefully on March the 20th. So he spent 25 days in total in hospice. On reflection, we're eternally grateful for them 25 days. At the particular time, it was like the roller coaster. It was fast and furious. You never knew what lay ahead. There was uncertainty, inevitability of what was going to come down the line. We were afraid. There was distress. There was trauma. But the staff just were so unreal in that situation. I mean, they listened to us, they encouraged us, they supported us. They were very intuitive in dealing with us. They They could preempt every thought nearly, and they could support us and help us and give us great counsel and guidance. We had great quality time with Kevin. We lived life, really. We had great fun and chat and banter. We reminisced, we went down memory lane, we recalled different events. Words of wisdom were passed on, words of encouragement and support were offered. Nothing was left unsaid. For Kevin had time. He got the time and space really to tie up ends. What he lost in physical deterioration and strength, he gained enormously in emotional peace and calm and acceptance. And that gave him that time and space to live them last 25 days. Any day he felt strong enough to come out home, the staff completely supported and did everything to encourage that. And we might have to run off and get a little bit of medicine for him. And if anything went wrong, all we had to do was take him back in or ring them. They were totally supportive of getting him out. And they even suggested, which was wonderful, having private family time. You know, that I think his first day out, they said, just have it for you as a family. Don't have anybody else coming in. Shut your curtains if you have to. Spend that day with Kevin. And we did, and we had the most wonderful day. But the night he came out to play the music, there was about 40 or 50 musicians turned up, great friends of his, came from far and wide to be there. But it afforded the locals, his friends and neighbours, the opportunity to come down to the pub as well and to just have a wee quick word with them or whatever. And he met them all and saw them all. So it was like a grand finale for him. But it was a lovely way to go out, you know. And he went back to hospice that night on a high. I mean on a high, you know. And he slept so sound afterwards, you know, that emotionally it was brilliant, even though he was extremely weak. It was like a balancing act as he slowly but surely deteriorated and lost his physical strength. With the pain relief, emotionally, it was an upward climb. You know, the peace, the contentment, the calm, the relaxation, it was just phenomenal. And, you know, we always felt as a family he was sparing us as well, you know, that the hospice team, in looking after him, they looked after all his medical end and his needs. We could just be there with him and, you know, it was like protection for us as well, you know. Like, what I really feel about hospice, for us it was the safe haven. It really was. It was the refuge, it was the shelter, it was the rock at that awful stage of our lives. But yes, and as I say, he had the great interest in the music, and we had the music sessions, and in his dying days we played the traditional music for him. And the team actually that morning as he passed away, they had the music, they came in and out like just to change or do whatever, and they put on the music for him that morning. So he actually passed away listening to his favourite music. Yeah. Hospice became an extension of our immediate family, and you know, they became our friends, they became our companions. We had fun, we had laughter, we had banter, we shared our worries and concerns, the whole lot of us, Kevin included. They really were, and I mean, they made for us, which was a very surreal situation in life, they made it almost normal. Always be indebted to them for them final weeks that we spent there. If we'd Kevin at home for them 4 weeks, it would have been extremely stressful, difficult, anxious, because we wouldn't know how to deal with the situation. Even if the nurses were coming and trying to keep his pain under control, we would still have to live with the knock-on effect of that. When Kevin was in hospice, we never had to worry about his medication. We never had to worry about the pain. If he was getting the pain, the nurses came, they could tweak, they could gauge, they could monitor, they could do all of that. So we could just come and go as guests every day, really, you know. On numerous occasions he said to me, "Ma'am," he says, "only very special people work here." And on numerous occasions he said that, and we would totally agree, only very special people work here. He felt so safe. He felt so secure. Even on his day trips home, he never once objected to going back. We often thought, well, maybe he might say, "I'll stay home tonight." Never once. He wanted to go back every evening. That was definitely uppermost in his mind, you know. I think that was because he felt so safe in there, so secure in there, you know. And I would say sparing us as well. You know, we could at least stay at home and have a night's sleep and go back in the next day. So it really made life very easy for the whole lot of us, as I say, in a very surreal situation or surreal stage of our lives.